Hello and welcome everybody. Kicker of Elves here. Hope you're all having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is for you. On my end, it is the release day for the newest Series 5 card, Ezekiel Sims in Marvel Snap. And I'm just going to come right out of the gate and say it. I am not getting this card right now, and I don't think you should either. There's the too long didn't read if that's all you're looking for. But otherwise, I want to talk about some of the good, the bad with this card, and my overall final verdict because everyone's situation is different, and for some people, this might be the card of your dreams. So, out of the gate, Ezekiel Sims. This card says, after you play a card with higher power here, give this +2 power and move this to another location. So this is a very unique card first and foremost. There's not a lot of other cards like this that have both the power condition and the move to other locations while gaining power. That mixture is very unique for Ezekiel Sims. So with that little introduction, let's talk about the good for this card. This is probably the biggest point in his favor. He is a perfect fit in the Kraven, Sam Wilson, Hydra Stomper, Batroc the Leaper, move a lot of cards. I think that's a really cool deck in concept. I love just the aesthetic of it. You get your Batroc down, you get your Sam Wilson, Kraven, Hydra Stomper, your movie Silk is in there, you're moving all these cards around, power's bouncing all over the place. It can be really beneficial when you're trying to win early locations or things like Asgard. It's a really cool deck. That is absolutely Ezekiel Sims' home. That's where a lot of people are going to be experimenting with him right away. And I like that this card is enhancing a space that's underexplored. This isn't another destroy card. This isn't another discard card. This is a move card that does not want to go in the big popular move deck with Heimdall, Human Torch, that sort of card here. Ezekiel Sims wants to go in a smaller to the ground, move a lot of different cards. Heck, Spider-Punk could go in there too. And I love that Second Dinner are creating cards that are exploring underexplored areas of the game. Every little bit, every little new card that's going into these other archetypes that aren't, ongoing, destroy, discard, the major big picture, huge archetypes that seem to get a lot of attention, every new card in that space could help push those decks to becoming meta contenders. When Man-Spider was being talked about at first, that was kind of like is this card really going to make Merge its own archetype? Like, are we there yet? I don't know. Like, it probably needs more cards. And then rapidly we saw that Man-Spider deck with Agony, Hulkbuster, Penny Parker, all these other cards with Merge in them come together and be a significant threat. It's been a popular deck. I don't know if that deck's going to have the stopping power to last a long time, but the point being, before Man-Spider came out, Merge was not a real deck. I think Ezekiel Sims is going to be a perfect fit in that Kraven, Sam Wilson, Hydra Stomper deck, and his addition could help that really move the needle for it. Love Second Dinner making these kinds of cards. And although I'm talking a lot about that specific kind of deck, it should be noted Ezekiel Sims does not require move cards to function. He could be tested in a variety of decks. You could play him down as a 2-drop in a Surtur style list, not literally Surtur, but like the Super Giant Sauron stuff. All you need is to be playing stronger cards on top of him to get him to move and continue scaling. He doesn't need to go in a move deck, but the synergy is right there and would make a lot of sense. That's some of the good, that's some fit points in favor of Ezekiel Sims, but let's talk about the bad. The giant burning elephant in the room is that the version of move that he wants to go in is not at the top of the meta. You know what kind of non-controversially is at the top of the meta? The Human Torch deck with Dagger, Heimdall, Juggernaut. It better have Juggernaut in it. Watch my video from yesterday about how Juggernaut's the best card in the game if you want to see more about that. The big Human Torch, Dagger, that sort of move deck, that is far and away the better move deck. Even if you're putting Ezekiel Sims in a Scream decks face up against that move deck, the move deck with Human Torch can still outpace Scream. It is not the best place for that deck. I think that deck is a cool deck. I think it's not like a D or an F tier deck. It's probably like a B tier deck. But when you're trying to climb, trying to hit infinite, you're trying to push the infinite leaderboards, this is a PvP only game. You are trying to win more and improve your rank at the end of the day to reach whatever goal. And maybe you're not trying to hit infinite, you're trying to hit 60 to get that variant. Whatever that is, you want cards that are going to help you reliably, consistently win more. And Ezekiel Sims is a move card that doesn't go in the best kind of deck for that archetype. It's a different kind of move archetype, but the move a bunch of cards Hydra Stomper list has never really been that strong. Quick aside, if you remember way back in the day before the card Annihilus came out, there was an original data mine of Annihilus that had him as a 6/5 with text that read something like, move all of your cards randomly. That would have been a great card for the kind of move cards everywhere sort of deck. Obviously, we don't want to do that because that's just way too random. But yeah, Ezekiel Sims is not going in the best move deck. He's realistically, if you're playing to meet his condition, he's going to cap out around a 2/6 or a 2/8. You already have Lizard in your collection. Do you need a... We're not going to flood the board meta. If you want a 2/6, you've got that. You can play Maximus on the last turn of the game if you're wild. That's not terrible stats, but it's not going to be a lane winner. And also his final position on the board, if you're trying to push him as hard as possible, unless you've set up your cards in a very specific way, he could go to a location you don't need him to. You can't manually move. He does not have the text that says you can move this once. His final position at the end of the game is ultimately not going to be up to you unless you've positioned your cards in a very specific way. And again, if you are going to go through the mental gymnastics of making sure all your cards that are moving around are in a very specific spot, you're going to get more power and more wins from a Human Torch based move deck, not an Ezekiel Sims Kraven Hydra Stomper move deck. And again, this is a Series 5 card. This isn't Series 4. 6,000 collector's tokens, they're not easy to come by. We got to get a decent chunk of levels if we're just playing the game and not, if we're just playing the game to get 3,000 collector's tokens. And if you don't have a ton of them, if you are not collection complete or competitively collection complete, those 6,000 tokens need to be going to cards that are going to have a big impact on your account, unless you're just, you've been playing and saving for forever, or you skip the zombie season, you got over 100k tokens, and you're just like, I love cards with the move text on them in any capacity. And generally speaking, for most players, you want your collector's tokens to have a very tangible impact on your account, and Ezekiel Sims is likely not going to be that. So what's the verdict here? I will say, do not buy Ezekiel Sims unless you are the kind of player who is, before even watching this video, actively playing and climbing with the Move a Lot, Hydra Stomper, Kraven, that sort of deck. I want to be clear, I want you to have already been playing that deck, not like, oh, Ezekiel Sims is going to come out, now I'm going to try that deck for the first time and see how it goes. No. If you've been playing with that deck already and are already doing well with it, Ezekiel Sims will upgrade that. So if that's what you've been doing, if you're like, I'm rank 95 right now, I'm so close to infinite, I've been doing all of my climbing with this deck and I want to push it over, sure, then Ezekiel Sims is probably for you. That's probably the only situation for the only player who I would say definitely buy this right now. It's still early on. Wait and see if others cook up really powerful decks with him. There's plenty of time before the weekend missions. You don't need to rush in FOMO, buy Ezekiel Sims on day one. We've got Prowler coming out at the end of the month. Spider-Man Noir looks equally weird next week, but maybe someone figures out something crack with them. You do not need to FOMO into Ezekiel Sims right away unless you're the kind of player who's already playing that Move a Lot of cards deck and doing well with it. Now, situationally, if you've got 6,000 tokens burning a hole in your pocket and you have every other card that you want, you're not waiting for something to pop up in the shop, then maybe, just maybe, you pick them up. This does not look like an F tier card or anything like that. There's certainly going to be some applications for him. But thinking about this from the perspective of a player who is maybe newer in the collection track, maybe doesn't have, half a dozen different competitive decks they can go off and play right now, if you are trying to reach new heights of your account, trying to push to infinite, you're having trouble, you're not already there yet, I don't think this card is for you. It's certainly not going to be for me. If people in the next few days come up with some really cracked decks, then maybe I'll go back to that. But I like to be a little bit picky with my purchases, even though I'm sitting at around 73k collector's tokens at the time of recording this. I want to keep a nice stockpile in case there's a month with tons of good cards, or just to save things over time. Remember, you can always get him in collector's packs or in the shop after he leaves. This isn't a gotcha banner. He's not gone, but as of right now, you do not need to rush into this card. With that, thank you for sticking around for my talk about Ezekiel Sims. Definitely an interesting card. Again, I am very happy Second Dinner is exploring more deck spaces rather than just continuing to add, destroy, discard traditional ongoing cards. I do appreciate that. Very interesting approach, but right now I just don't think Ezekiel Sims is worth it for you. So if you made it this far, really appreciate that. Really appreciate you sticking around. We're a new channel here, and it's been a lot of fun making content these past 2 weeks. Love the response, love talking with y'all. If you could subscribe, hit that like button, that would do a tremendous help for me. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, leave a comment. Even if you don't want to talk about Marvel Snap, if you want to talk about FLCL, you want to talk about Gynax anime, you want to talk about cooking Cajun chicken breasts for meal prep. Whatever you want to talk about, I will respond to your comment. We'll have a good chat, and thank you. I've been Kicker of Elves, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.